So this is an AI-powered smartphone gimbal. It claims to have some of the best subject tracking there is out there for the smoothest shots possible. But does it though, really? I mean, just how good is this thing and how can we use it to improve our films and videos? Let's find out. Hey everyone, Steve here from Learn Online Video, and today I'm at this incredible location here in the southwest of England where I'm going to be shooting a short cinematic sequence with a twist. I want to see if it's possible to shoot this sequence using entirely AI, or more specifically Deep Track 3.0, which is a feature that comes with this gimbal. A big thanks to Insta360 for sponsoring this video and for sending out the Insta360 Flow for me to test out. I'm going to capture as many shots as I can, and at the end of this video edit all of those clips into a short sequence using music, color grading and sound effects. Okay, let's start nice and simple with a basic push forward. Let's establish this location using AI. I'm going to select my focal point by dragging a box around it like this. And we're now locked on and I'm simply going to push forward. Can the AI lock onto my focal point and keep it in the center of frame whilst capturing a nice steady shot? Yeah, not bad. Okay, so it seems to have handled a basic push forward pretty well, but let's be honest, that was easy. I think we can push this thing a bit more. Let's shoot something a bit more challenging. This time, let's select our focal point and use this flowering bush as foreground. I'm going to start my shot from behind the bush and then slide my camera from left to right. Will the AI keep my focal point centered and steady? Not bad. Right, now one thing I want to test out here is lowrider mode, because ordinarily when you shoot using a smartphone gimbal in lowrider mode, you can't see what you're shooting because your phone's low to the ground. It's kind of guesswork. You don't really know what you've shot until you play back your clip. But with this AI tracking, you can lock on to your subject or focal point. So in this case, I've just locked on to the hole at the bottom of this tin mine. And now I can walk forward with my camera in lowrider mode and not have to worry about framing or composition because I know that it's locked on to its focal point. And that is a complete game changer because it just makes capturing these types of shots so much easier. Now, whenever I hear there's a new gimbal being released, the first question I ask myself is why? What makes this gimbal so different to all the other gimbals that are already out there? Well, thankfully, this gimbal truly is unique because ordinarily, gimbals automatically place your focal point in the center of frame, like this. It's really nothing new. But with this gimbal, you're able to choose whereabouts in the frame you place your focal point. I can change the position by moving this joystick. So let's use the rule of thirds, for example. I'm going to place my focal point on the top right intersecting lines. And now when I start to move the camera, the AI will keep my focal point locked in this position. And think about it, framing and composition is such an important part of the filmmaking process. The rule of thirds, leading lines, all of these rules of composition are much harder when your focal point is in the center of frame. But we now have much more control over how we frame our shot. Okay, let's try another more advanced move here, a shot looking up and orbiting around my focal point. Let's lock on to this window. Ordinarily, this would be very difficult to keep in the center of frame, but the AI seems to be doing a pretty good job. In fact, let's play this clip back, reduce the speed, and add some cinematic music. Now, when first starting out with gimbal moves, you'll find that some movements are much harder than others. A simple push forward or pull back is a great beginner move, but as soon as you start introducing multiple camera movements, that's when things get much harder. For example, pushing your camera forward and tilting up, or lifting your camera up and keeping your subject in the center of frame. Ordinarily, to do this, you would need to lift your camera up whilst tilting your camera down using this joystick. To get the timing right with this can be incredibly difficult. But when using AI, tracking your focal point all of a sudden becomes much easier. You can now lock onto your subject, then lift up, creating a jib movement, and now the AI has locked onto our focal point and is tilting the camera for us. And this doesn't just work for up and down movements, you can also do this going from side to side. Take this shot here, for example. I'm going to lock onto this sign on this wall and then move my camera from left to right. See how the AI has locked onto my focal point and is panning the camera for me. The only movement I'm doing here is side to side. The AI has complete control of keeping that sign in the center of frame. So there's definitely gimbal moves that AI works much better for than others. It works exceptionally well for shots that are low to the ground, where you can't see what you're shooting. They work great for up and down or side to side movements where you want to keep your focal point in the center of frame. And they also work great if you've got a moving subject that you want to lock onto and track. Okay, now let's grab a few more shots. Let's try a push forward, tilt up by locking onto the window on the inside of this old tin mine. Let's grab a mini jib shot rising up from behind this grass, and let's try a shot low to the ground. I'm going to use this extension pole, which I've only just realized is built into this gimbal, and I'm going to push forward and then lift up to reveal my focal point, creating almost a drone-like feel to this shot. Okay, so I think we've probably captured enough footage to create a short sequence, so let's watch that now, and when we get back, I'll tell you my pros and cons, as well as who I think this gimbal is for. Okay, so what did you think of that sequence? How well did this gimbal do at keeping things smooth and steady? Do let me know in the comments section below. But before you do that, what are some pros and cons, and who is this gimbal for? Well, let's start with the pros. It's small, it's compact, it fits easily in your pocket, and the AI tracking is by far the best I've seen in any smartphone gimbal. It's got a slick, modern design, built-in tripod, extension pole, and this is Insta360's first smartphone gimbal, by the way. They're most well known for their 360 cameras, so a great first attempt. Okay, but what are some of the cons? Well, for me, by far the biggest one is its tilt axis. I'd really like to see more maneuverability here. Also, I love the design of this built-in tripod, but it could definitely do with being a bit sturdier. Fine on a nice flat surface, but on any kind of uneven ground, it's very difficult to get a solid locked off shot. Now, who is this gimbal for? Well, for me, this is a great beginner's gimbal. Perfect if you're a mobile filmmaker on a budget looking to capture smooth, steady shots. A great option if you're a vlogger, solo shooter, or travel filmmaker that wants to travel light. The AI features are extremely useful if you struggle with framing and composition, or just keeping your subject in the center of frame. This is where this gimbal is really going to help. So I hope you found this video useful. I will link the Insta360 Flow in the description below. And if you'd like to learn more about capturing smooth cinematic gimbal moves, then be sure to check out this video here. But that's it from me. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.